Welcome back to the show. This is episode 691 in the two Dum Yinzers. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Derpy, good morning. How are you today?
I'm doing okay.
Derpy's been
Could be better.
out sick all week. Wait, what do you got? Diarrhea?
Yeah, 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 kinda. I got the flu.
Mm,
Oh,
all right.
that's
Well,
no
welcome
good.
back.
Flu's no good.
I'm glad you're over there. Um, Good morning, Mike. How you, man?
I'm doing all right. Hopefully, my computer is not running as slow on the screen as I think it is. I don't know what's going on, but other than that, man, I'm doing good, man. It's a good day, man. Good day to talk some football, talk some sports.
Good morning, Jen on the board.
What
Mike,
up,
another
Jen?
question. What's going on with
Yeah.
the website, Mike?
There's something on the back end that I'm in dispute with them, and it's going to get resolved real soon.
Okay.
Yeah. I forgot to mention you. I was running late today. I didn't get a chance to see you. Yeah, I just wanted to let you know. Yeah, I know what's going on. They know what's going on. It's getting resolved. Yeah.
Okay. I went in yesterday, and then it said that the page wasn't found. And I kept going in all day to see if it fixed itself.
Yeah.
You got it all under control.
Got it all under control.
Good morning, everybody. Yes, we got some stuff we got to talk about today, guys.
Yeah, we do.
Let's do this. Let's start right here with the big fight, the big brawl that went down last week at the Super Bowl week. The big fight. Many people didn't even hear about this fight, Mike. This fight was big. The fight was between Patrick Mahomes' dad.
Yeah.
I seen this.
And John Rocker.
Yeah.
That's right. Now, if you remember John Rocker back from the early 90s on that Braves team, he was certainly a controversial figure, I think, to say the least, when he played in Atlanta. Then he disappeared for a few decades. Now he's back fighting with Patrick Mahomes' dad.
Yeah.
Mike, 30 years later, does this surprise you that John Rocker's getting into fights with people?
No, it does not at all. At all. This is who John Rocker is. It's the only way John Rocker can stay relevant is by, antagonizing people online and in real life. So, yeah, that's just, it does not surprise me at all.
See, I think he holds more relevance than the other guy. I mean, the John Rocker had himself a career. He was a good. Matter of fact, he was pretty intense. He would get called out from the bullpen, and he would sprint from the bullpen to the mound. That was his big. That was his thing. And fight against somebody because they're his dad. Again, I think again, I give the at least being relevant edge to John Rocker in this, Mike. But did it actually formulate? Did it turn into a fight? What happened? Do you have any backstory on this?
Only thing I heard, like I saw them beefing in person, and then next thing I know, like what the hell, the dude from Barstool's like, it's happening, they're fighting, they're gonna do this for this fight thing. And I was like, whatever. Like, I don't care about John Rocker, I don't care about Patty Mahomes' dad, I don't care about the dude from Barstool. So I was like, this is so stupid. I'd rather watch Chad Johnson get beat down by James Harrison 12 days a week than watch.
Because you figure as baseball players, Patrick Mahomes' dad wasn't that great. He played here in Pittsburgh for a hot minute and then moved on. But, as far as two former baseball players going at it, I guess if you're going to take two old guys and have them go at it during Super Bowl week, none other better would be than to have the quarterback's dad going against John Rocker. Of course, always controversial. He was the big thing about Rocker was they were facing the Yankees. I remember in the World Series, the Braves were facing the Yankees, and he had a big problem with just all the different, the diversity, I guess, if you will, up in New York. That was the big thing. He was jawing with the media. Then he got into it with fans, and claim to fame. He was really intense, but all he's ever going to be known for is his John Rockerisms, if you will. So I just thought that was interesting. I didn't hear about it when it went down, and I thought I'd like to see it. I'd like to. It was just John Rocker. Is he still a big guy? Did he shrink down like most post athletes?
I don't know. They were. He looked like he did. He looked like he shrank down. And I just saw these two guys jawing in the street. I'm like, what the hell's going on with these idiots?
Yeah. Good morning to Mark Malone. Good morning to Overenthusiastic Mod Caleb. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. A little fight, a little tiff, if you will, last week between John Rocker, the former pitcher for the Atlanta Braves, and also the father of the quarterback of the Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes Sr. I thought that was just a little interesting. If anybody has any more scoop on that, I'd be interested to hear it. Mark Malone says, what a kick-ass name, John Rocker. I like it. I do. I like it. So that'd be that. Let's get into some talk, guys. Of course, the big talk of the morning is the Steelers reaching out to the Jacksonville Jaguars with interest of including the quarterback Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah.
For one, I think I like this move. I would like this. But again, you got to remember, we are very, very, very early on in the rumor mill that is the Steelers offseason. Right now, we have connections with Trevor Lawrence, with Matthew Stafford, with Aaron Rodgers, with Cooper Kupp, with Devontae Adams. I mean, keep looking, because every single time that you look it up, there's going to be a new name added on this list. And that's going to be a question that I have too, Mike. I personally like the rumor mill. I like it. I again, football season goes all year around for me, not just the main events, not just the things that everybody has interest in, but Mike, we keep up and we watch every move, like sly detectives we are, and we watch every move and see all the possibilities. And I for one, I like the rumor mill. I like seeing all the possibilities that we may never probably will ever have on our team, but still at the end of the day, it's a lot of fun to me. And again, now with Omar Khan at the helm, you know, if
you don't know what's going to happen,
it's a little bit more fun. Right. Because I didn't see us getting Patrick Queen last year, and he pulled that off. So again, with him, you just don't know. You just don't. One day we might wake up and we may have a quarterback, or we may have a receiver. And I like that. I like this part of the season. Let me see what Overenthusiastic Mod Caleb. We are riding to Jacksonville, the prince who promised the Steelers a Super Bowl victory in 28, who's ready for a fresh shelf. Also wants Tomlin. Jen calls BS. Also, Jen says Jags don't have a GM, which is true.
Exactly.
And then also Mark Malone says that IU crap was getting old last year. See, that's where when I'm kind of finding myself is trying to figure out who do people really the rumor mill? See, I do, but Mark makes a good point. It gets old. So that's why I do like seeing the plethora of names again out off the top, plus more. I mean, there's more names I even mentioned, but that's what I'm just trying to figure out the line. I mean, who does the people really, do they enjoy this more, or do they not enjoy this? So, my personal take is I like it. Again, football season never ends. It's always something. And for me, that's a lot of fun to keep up with this kind of stuff. I'll get into more of what, we'll get into more of what a Trevor Lawrence ran offense will look like here as the show goes on, Mike. But one thing that I do know about this is if Pittsburgh people like anything, it's guys with long hair. I mean, go back to Kevin Green and Troy Polamalu and every single guy that had long hair. Yager. Anybody that's ever had long hair in this in pro sports in Pittsburgh has been a very popular player. And I don't see why Trevor Lawrence would be any different. I'm going to be honest with you. Mike, we do have a lot of things to go over today. There is, Dante Jackson. I want to talk a little bit about him. He's being predicted to possibly land in New York. Also, we're going to talk a little bit about the slot corner position, which, Mike, again, after what we've seen last year, are we concerned or do we feel confident? Mike, we got a lot of stuff to talk about today as far as the Pittsburgh Steelers go. Also, the four-team tournament in hockey is on. It's on, Mike. Sidney Crosby, no surprise, is making waves as you would expect that he would. We'll get into that a little bit more. Also, Mike, the Pirates' new first baseman, carousel first baseman, is injured for 6 to 8 weeks. Mike, I can't wait to get into that. Of course, I know people love the Steelers, but again, I am kind of chomping at the bit. We just chomped at the bit to get into that story myself because again, this is what you get. This is what you get from ripping your first baseman off last year, cutting him just 4 at-bats short of getting his bonus. This is what you get. Your new first baseman out 6 to 8 weeks. Good morning, Yinzer Joe. Yinzer Joe, Trevor played worse than Wilson. Why the hell would we give a first-round pick for him? See, I don't think giving a first-round pick for him is a good idea, but I do think he would be a good quarterback. And, it's hard to – and, again, I'm not going to try to sell Trevor Lawrence. I mean, it's there. The proof is in the pudding. The guy was winning national championships as a freshman in college. The guy's a baller. There's no two ways about it. He got drafted by a bad team like most people do. Saquon Barkley, for a good example. Put him on a better team. Excuse me. Let's see what the guy can do. For one, I like the Trevor Lawrence idea a lot. And, again, let's just say we give this guy a bunch of money for 3 seasons or so.
He already has a contract.
Give me some numbers.
Yeah, he has a big contract. I have it right here. It is his cap hit next year is 17 million, then 24 million, 35 million, 47 million.
Then, what's the numbers? What's the years on these?
It runs through. He signed a 5-year deal. It just says 5-year deal. It doesn't say when he got it, so I'm looking like it started this year or last year. It started 2024. It started.
So that's what I'm saying. I mean, you want to keep him around for about 3 seasons, whatever the deal may be. You're going to pay him a lot of money, which I think that he's worth it. And I got to be honest with you. If you took either of these quarterbacks last year and you felt good about it, and you feel not good about Trevor Lawrence, see that's a little bit of an issue I have. I think, of course, Trevor Lawrence is, and then I'm getting a little resistance here, of course, by let's see a couple of different people, but I'm just going to say it, and we're going to move on. I'll get to these messages in just a moment. I think that Trevor Lawrence will do. What's up, DL Dub? I think that he would do just fine here. I think he needs a little team around him. I think the Steelers and Trevor Lawrence would be good for each other. I really do. Let me get to some of these messages. I just seen the money that with Geno Smith was bringing yesterday. I just seen the name Geno Smith came up in the message board. It's amazing what Geno Smith is getting paid in this league. I'm going to be honest with you. I'll get to that here shortly as well. Let me go to right here. The new coach of the Jags just hired, said he came there because of Lawrence. Would that be the most Jacksonville Jaguar thing to do, is get rid of Lawrence now? The Yinzer Joe, Trevor played worse than Wilson. Well, okay, we already got that. I'm on board with bringing in Geno Smith, Mason Rudolph, drafting Howard. Yinzer Joe says, I'd obviously love to have him because of his talent, but at what cost? DL Dub says, dude, Justin Fields is better than Trev. This is getting ridiculous. Jen says 200 guaranteed.
That's right.
Mark Malone says, what's up, Fields, you nut hugger? John Perry, good morning. Fields beat him in college, so why pay that when you have someone who has beaten him? Again, we'll get into that as the show goes on. And DL Dub, I watched both of these guys. I did too. I obviously, one being in the ACC, I seen one plenty. And DL Dub and Mark already exchanging words on the board. Guys, I like it. At the end of the day, Trevor Lawrence. I'm sorry, he's going to be Trevor Wilson now, Mike.
Oh, I know you and names, dude. It's a fucking
everyone's atrocious. A Wilson to me. It's all because of Grady Wilson off of Sanford and some. But anyway, I like a Trevor Lawrence move. Again, I don't think ultimately when it comes down to it's going to happen. This is very, 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 very early in the off season. It's very early in the rumor mill. And again, of the names that I read earlier, I think you're going to get a lot more names before something even happens. And again, at the end of the day, it comes down to money. Is it going to come down to money? And we're going to say, you know what, this is going to work out perfect with Justin Fields, and we can kind of give him what we want and kind of work this thing out. Or is the team going to say, you know what, let's show that we're in this to win this. We're in this to try to get our guy. We are in this maybe after seeing billboards around town over the past couple of days, maybe, just maybe, the word got around the front office and guys are starting to talk. But nonetheless, this morning I wake up to see this news that we inquired. Jen did hit it on the head by saying that they don't have a GM, which they don't. So they might have talked to the janitor they called down there. We're inquiring about Trevor Lawrence. Latino guy answers the phone. He's like, yes, we could do it. You know what I mean? Like, who knows who he talked to? He might have talked to the custodian. Who knows who we're talking to down there? But nonetheless, Trevor Lawrence, again, just another name on the rumor mill, which, again, I love this. I love this time of year. Matt Stafford, Trevor Lawrence, Aaron Rodgers, Cooper Kupp, Devontae Adams. The list goes on and on and on and on and on and on and on. So we will continue to follow that as it does. Mike, do you particularly like the rumor mill?
I like the rumor mill. It's fun. It's something to talk about during the downtime of the year. You know, you more or less you can play fantasy GM during this time of the year. But, you know, is it gonna happen? Probably not. Still money involved. He has like a full no movement or no trade clause, but I'm sure you can waive that. You do that in every other sport. Rumor mill's fun. I like it. I love the draft. I love the build up to the draft. I love the build up the free agency. I love who's going to go where, find out if you're right, find out if you're wrong. It's fun. It's, fans, we've been doing this since we were little kids talking about sports, like, oh man, imagine if we get this guy, imagine if we could get that guy. And, it's still fun now. It's a nice distraction. Now, would I go after Trevor Lawrence at his price tag? No, I would not. He's underperformed in Jacksonville. Now, the team around him hasn't been that good.
But we were okay with the Justin Fields who underperformed in Chicago.
Yeah, I'm not okay with either of them. I would want better. But the only reason I would take Fields over Lawrence, like the productions, they're not that dissimilar. It's the cost. I want more money on offense, but I want bang for the buck. If I'm paying Trevor Lawrence the type of money that, Joe Burrow, Jalen Hurts, Patrick Mahomes, those guys are getting, I want those types of numbers, and I'm not getting that from Trevor Lawrence.
You might get that outside of Jacksonville, though.
But in our offense,
by far the worst team in the league for the past 5 years.
Yeah, but with our offense.
No, you're right. Our offense would be the problem. I agree. If Trevor Lawrence came here, I don't think it would be Trevor Lawrence would be the issue. I think it would be our offense. Again, we don't have a number 2 receiver. Again, we're probably sending our number 1 running back down the road. Again, hardly sold at this point. You have 2 or 3 young linemen, Mike, that were out all season with injuries. You played 2 rookies all year. If Trevor Lawrence came here, I think that the problem would be us. And here's what I'm going to say about this. Listen, this guy in the ACC and then between Jacksonville, he has it between the ears, Mike. And this is what I talk about when I talk about quarterbacks and who's going to be special and who's going to be that guy and who has potential. Mike, it's between the ears. This kid has it between the ears. He's always had it between the ears. Justin Fields, that's my issue with him. He's a good mobile running back. You could use him for many different things. But at the end of the day, I don't see it between the ears with him. When it comes down to it, 5 years from now, when both guys are still in the league, both of them are veterans, I look at Trevor Lawrence and I see a guy that could step on the field with confidence, read defense, and make big plays like he has. Mike, I still listen. I'm not doubting Justin Fields. I'm just saying, guys, I mean, is he going to be that guy? I don't know if he's going to be the guy 5 years from now. It's going to step out, read it again. Still, for me, it's a Trevor Lawrence on this one. I would like this again, but this is still very, very, very early in the offseason. You're going to hear a million more names unless we wake up tomorrow morning and find out we got a new quarterback, which under Omar Khan, maybe I wouldn't be surprised, but I do. I like the kid's a natural quarterback. He can move, and again, he has it between the ears, which again, there's been things that I've seen from Justin Fields, who though went 10 touchdowns and 1 interceptions in his time early played in Pittsburgh. There's still something missing when you see the guy on the field, under center, reading, things like this. Those are the reasons I do like Trevor Lawrence. And again, he does have a mountain of talent. But, Mike, I think you hit it on the head by saying the biggest problem with Trevor Lawrence is going to be the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah, it's going to be the Pittsburgh Steelers. And, his first year in Jacksonville, rookie year, numbers weren't great. In the next 2 years, numbers were really good. 25 touchdowns, 8 picks. Brought his completion percentage up to 66. The following year, 21 touchdowns, but 14 picks. completion percentage around the same. And then this year in 10 games, 11 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. Like, which guy are you going to get? Which guy are you going to get? And,
get him anybody that's outside of Jacksonville, Mike. I guarantee you see a different performance from this guy. This kid, just like any of these other guys that we go up based off their college performance. Go watch the guy's performance. He was amazing. He was right there with Joe Burrow in the championship games with him multiple years, on top of winning it as a freshman. I'm telling you, get this guy out of Jacksonville. If we don't take him, he's going to go somewhere else and be a damn good quarterback. I just don't want to miss out on that boat, because if he does go somewhere else and be that guy for them, we're going to sit here and say, damn it, we had that opportunity and we passed it up.
I don't know. I just never been real. Like, I was impressed with him in college. I was impressed with him the year they went to the playoffs and he was able to rally the team back. But I was watching, video breakdowns of him early in this year. Same things that we complain about: Kenny Pickett, Mitch Trubisky, Justin Fields, missing guys open that open throws, overthrowing guys that are there when he had time in the pocket. Now, was that a mechanic issue? Was there an injury issue? Was that just, I'm surrounded by guys that aren't that good?
By the Jacksonville Jaguars, who, what have they done for quarterbacks over the past 30 years? Mike, I do have to get to some of these messages. We're getting so far behind here.
Oh, yeah.
Just hold your thought. Let's see. Let's go right here. Yinzer Joe says Lawrence was the number 1 pick and won a national championship. Fields didn't win the championship and was number 11. Lawrence ceiling is higher. I agree. I just think that Lawrence is a better quarterback. Mark Malone will obviously, Lawrence can throw the ball, so he's got that on Fields. DL Dub says, I hear those points, Yinzer. I just feel like Justin Fields shown more in the league with less. Jacksonville's pretty low on the totem pole, guys. Mark Malone, if busting will play for less than 10, hold on, word. Justin Fields will play for less than $10 million a year. He'd be worth $2 a year. DL Dub says he was not a runner in college. He became a runner because he went to Chicago, but I could understand your take based on what's on TV. You know what? And I also want to say this, none of my opinions are ever off of anything that people say off TV, because I don't watch TV. Jacob's Trouble. Good morning, Jacob's Trouble. Welcome to you. He says, so with Trevor, the issue will be the Steelers, but with Justin, it's yes. That's exactly what I'm saying. If it's the Trevor with yes, I think Justin is Justin's own worst enemy at the end of the day. Listen, and I say this for a reason. I don't say this just because I think that I have a funny, quirky. Go back and watch Cordell Stewart. Watch his career play out. This guy is Cordell Stewart. Listen, he can do great things. He can put up great numbers, but at the end of the day, is he going to be the guy that breaks the cycle, gets this team to the Super Bowl and wins? And that's what we ultimately want. I think that's what we should be looking for in our quarterback. I just don't. I would love if Justin Fields did that. Don't get me wrong. I would love it, but I just don't see that happening. Mark Malone, does anyone here think Justin will throw 25 touchdowns in the Berg in a full season? Mark Malone says a high bar. I know. Mike, you see a 25 touchdown season?
I can see it. Yeah.
To who? Who's he throwing the ball to? I mean, come on, we don't have enough.
If we upgrade the receiver room,
I can throw more touchdowns if we upgrade the receiver room. Like,
I know. I'm just looking at their career stats and stuff. These guys are similar quarterbacks in the NFL. It's just the gap between the two, and then the pay differential between the two doesn't justify. Give me Justin Fields on the cheap, and I'll find another quarterback. In next year's draft. I just don't see anything like a wow factor in Trevor Lawrence. I don't.
But Mike, there was a lot of people that said that, myself included, about other players in the league that it turned out really well. So, listen, we'll keep track of both. We'll keep track of both people's careers as well. I mean, it's just isn't a debate for today. We'll keep an eye on this, and we'll see who finishes their career better. And at the end of the day, I'd put my money on Trevor Lawrence. DL Dub says we're Chicago and Jags equal from offensive talent. No, they were both bad teams. I mean, I thought Chicago had better offenses than Jacksonville had. We just forgetting how well Justin played, and he didn't win the chip in college because he got injured in the game. Over-enthusiastic intern Maud Caleb says, psst, psst, you want Anthony Richardson? Colts won't ask that much for just a second rounder. I agree, Mark. I think Cordell 2.0, and you know what? I will die on that hill. 17 games, should be throwing 35, Mark Malone said. So, I mean, there you go, guys. And again, this is real early. This is why I'm trying not to get too excitable about this or one way or the other, because I think ultimately at the end of the day, this is just the tip of the iceberg. We've already heard, again, Stafford, Rodgers, Lawrence, Kupp, Adams. Mike, and I got to tell you, Dante, who was it? Deshaun Elliott. His response to the Aaron Rodgers idea was comical.
I loved it.
Though.
What did he say? He said, he says, we don't want him. You could drop him off at the retirement home.
When I saw that, I was like, oh, Deshaun, you're the best.
Anybody on the board think that Aaron Rodgers is a good idea? Just curious to put up there if you are.
No.
Aaron Rodgers. You see how great it went in New York? Remember they planned the whole NFL season around Aaron Rodgers' his first year there? They gave them like 9 primetime games, it seemed like, and they were on every Thursday or Monday or Saturday or
maybe
Sunday.
Maybe 10 years ago.
And, you know, and he snapped his Achilles after one play. I don't want him. I don't want to be anywhere near that. I got to be honest, especially after losing the Super Bowl to him. F him. Let him. Let him retire. The hell out.
You can see like he is done. He's washed. Kirk Cousins is washed. Like these guys are just they're done.
I mean, I hate Jets.
Talking about one of the most overrated players ever in the history of ever was that Kirk Cousins.
Was terrible. Like he was a good. He'll get you good stats. Put up stats, but he can't win in the big time. And he is just a terrible quarterback. A lot of people here wanted him. He's a guy to me, like that's what I see Trevor Lawrence's ceiling is Kirk Cousins. Put up good numbers, but it's not going to be the guy that gets you over the hump. I have no faith in him. I have no faith in Fields. So they're all like the same guy to me for the most part.
Mike, listen. Of course, I'm not going to say Steelers run out and throw everything at Jacksonville. Yeah. Never. I would never say that. And you know what? At the end of the day, if Fields end up being our guy, I'm going to be behind Fields, and I'm going to support Fields, and I'm going to hope that Fields throws between 25 and 35 touchdowns. Yep. Listen, I'm a Steeler fan. At the end of the day, I just want what's best for the team. And at the end of the day, I find that to be the most important thing, not the fight, not the argument, not the debate. I'm just saying from my heart, moving forward, if we could get Trevor Lawrence by not giving away high draft picks, I just think that he's, for the lack of a better term, just a better quarterback. And if you understand what I'm saying, and that means somebody who could read defense. That means somebody that could just do all the things that good quarterbacks do, pick up on things and make things happen. And again, from what I've seen in college, I think Trevor is the guy. But again, there's debate both ways, and I'm not going to say I'm right. I'm not going to say I'm wrong because I do understand there's a lot of different opinions. Kenneth, what is up, my man? Haven't seen you in a while. He says, "What's up with these Trevor Lawrence rumors? Are they legitimate or not?" No, they are actually. Like I think 99% accurate. Correct. We reached out to the Jaguars to inquire to see if a deal is a possibility and see what they're looking for with Trevor. That is, I mean, according to 99% of the media that I did look at, Mike, unless there's something I'm missing, I do believe that these are legitimate rumors, if you will, Kenneth. Again, great seeing you, my man. Haven't seen you probably since the season ended, right? Mike.
But the reporter who broke the story, he said, there's hold on, let me pull up his actual tweet and read it so everyone's on the same page where this is coming from. This is from Ryan Burr. I have no idea who that is, but he's the one who broke it. The Steelers have made inquiries to the Jags about a trade for Trevor Lawrence. This is directly from the horse's mouth in the Jags organization. Now, is that from Shadi Khan, the owner? Is it from Tony Khan, his kid? Is it from a coach? Is it from a scout? Is it someone else in the front office that this guy has sources with? But yeah, that's where this is coming from. Ryan Burr, I think he was on one of the radio shows local too, talking about this when he broke this.
So there you go, guys. I mean, as far as we know, I don't think that there's any inaccuracies to the rumor at this point. Again, I don't know if we should get that excited, but again, I mean, we could wake up tomorrow with a new franchise quarterback, which I personally. I'm pretty critical of quarterbacks. I am. I mean, I think there's literally about 5 out there it's worth having. And at the end of the day, I don't know. I think that one of the guys that would be good for a Steelers team, I think they'd be good for each other moving forward. They could kind of grow together and gel because, of course, coming off out of Jacksonville, not off to a great start of his career with Trevor Lawrence and the Steelers, a bit of a slump lately. So I think the two together, if they grew together and got successful together, that could yield some pretty good success in Pittsburgh. You know what, Kenneth? Yeah, I mean, he says they're really considering parting with him. But you know what? Jacksonville's that's a poorly ran organization, considering, as said on the board, they don't have a GM at this moment. Who are we talking to?
Yeah.
The custodian? Are we talking to the traveling assistant to the travel agent? Or, who knows what's going to go down? Again, very, very, very early in the rumor mill, guys. We're going to see ample names pop up over the next couple months, considering we don't get our a guy in between now and then. Also, over enthusiastic Maud Caleb says, I talked to Sad Khan at Santa's workshop and he confirmed. And also Yinzer Joe says, think about what rounds those top AFC QBs were drafted. Lawrence will be at some point top 5 in the league. He just needs the help. They could get that in the draft too. Mike, and also this is one guy, not many in Steeler history. If he makes a mistake out on the field, we will be able to call him a dumb jag, right? Because he
yes, we can. Jag. Yes, because he was a jag, that dumb jag.
So I don't know. Things seem like if you look things from that logic, it makes a lot of sense.
For entertainment value alone, yeah.
Yeah.
So we can yell stuff.
Mike, anybody else that stands out? And as I said, I mentioned these guys, the names right off the top: Stafford, Rodgers, Lawrence, Kupp, Davante Adams. Mike, anybody else around the league stick out to you that's a big name that's got thrown into the rumor mill? Again, very, very early in the offseason, guys. We might hear 100 possibilities before we start making moves. I don't know. But again, some pretty big names early on for a team that's not living up to its fan standards. Maybe, Mike, a couple big splash moves this year in free agency or whatnot. So that's where I'm at. That's what I'm interested in. But who do you see, Mike? Anybody else on the radar that the Steelers are potential?
I would go I would kick the tires again on Davante Adams. Let it be known that your boy Aaron Rodgers is not coming here. Your quarterback's going to be most likely. I don't think it's going to be Trevor Lawrence. There's like a 2% chance that's happening. I think it is going to be Justin
According
Fields.
To some tweet I seen, somebody had 2%, but who knows what it would really.
I just threw that number out there myself too.
Yeah, it was.
I like Davante Adams. Like, hey, you still want to play?
Don't you think Davante Adams is going to follow Aaron Rodgers right into retirement? I mean, he's followed him everywhere else.
I know. That's why I hope he doesn't. But like, he's a guy. I look for him. But do you want that type of toxic kind of personality too in a room with George Pickens, who you might be giving a long-term contract to as well? So that's. But I kick the tires right there on Davante Adams. If you don't get like the Cooper Kupp, if you can't get who else were we talking about? Receiver Deebo Samuels. At least I'd take a look at Davante Adams. See if he wants to come here. If you can get him and George Pickens to work together, I think it'll be a really good combination right there. And then
in a perfect world, Mike, that's a really good situation.
Yeah,
to have George Pickens on one side and Davante Adams on the other. But how, especially in Pittsburgh, those perfect world situations seem to dissipate really quick.
That's why I don't think it would work at all. But
I would love to have Davante, and I would love.
And
like both of those receivers, things are looking a lot better.
Things are looking a lot better, but I have a feeling like it's probably going to end up being Deebo, if not Deebo.
I'm cool with Deebo. That's a name I keep leaving out. Actually, Deebo.
Yeah, or it's going to be one of the rookie receivers in the draft, like was it Luther Burton III or Ibuka? I think it'll be one of those two guys opposite George Pickens with a rotating cast of Calvin Austin and Roman Wilson. But I would like to have another veteran presence in that room. Davante Adams, I do it. He's still a productive receiver, and he's someone I would definitely look into.
Let me get a couple messages out of the way. Kenny says, I don't know. Don't get me wrong. I haven't given up on Justin Fields. I'm just saying if we could find a better situation along the way, let's do it. I have no problem with looking at Justin Fields again, but you got to remember, guys, he did very well in them. What was it, 6, 4, 8, whatever game it was. But at the end of the day, we still had a very, very difficult time scoring points. We had a hard time getting into the red zone. We had a hard time getting into the end zone. These are the things I'm talking about. Yep. A few of the things I'm talking about when I talk about Justin Fields, and not seeing the things that I do want to see, things I don't want to see out of a quarterback. And also Dub's going to also argue this as well. He says, come on with this. In Chicago, he had one receiver 1 year and threw the guy a career year. Yep. Just not thinking someone is good doesn't make them not good. And no one's saying that he's not good. I just want a quarterback that I feel could take me through the playoffs. And I don't know if I feel that way about Justin Fields. Again, we couldn't score any points. That wasn't good. You recall the game that Chris Boswell had 6 field goals was a Justin Fields game. You look at all those early on games against Denver and Atlanta and teams that weren't really that good. We couldn't score any points, and people could say, well, it was early on. But you know what? It was early on for those teams too.
Yeah.
And it was early on for Atlanta, and it was early on for Denver. And it was so, that's a concern of mine. I just tend to think that if Trevor Lawrence steps under center, he finds a way to get the ball down the field because that's what he's always done, easier than Justin Fields would. Again, I'm not putting Fields down. I'm just saying, me personally, I feel that this 19-year-old ACC champion, national champion quarterback, early, top draft, he was a high pick. I just think that there's a lot that this guy still has to show. And I'm not saying that Justin Fields doesn't. I just would like to take a look at Justin Fields. With Trevor Lawrence, I see what Justin Fields could do. And again, blame it on the Steelers. Maybe it was the fact that we had a terrible offensive line, a lot of injuries. We had a half of a receiver core. All right, I give him that. I'm not shutting out. I'm not shutting out Justin Fields. I'm just saying here on February 13th, I'm not committing to one guy just yet, especially if there's other possible potential guys out there. The names are floating, players are moving, and we have a active GM. So again, I'm not shitting on or flushing Justin Fields. As a matter of fact, I'd want him to be very successful if he does become our starter, and I will support him and I will cheer for him, and he will be my dude. But right now, me personally, I just think that Trevor Lawrence moves the ball down the field a little bit better. He always has. The dude is just, in my mind, between the ears, he's a better quarterback. I'm not saying Fields isn't. I'm just saying I think that Trevor would do better. But again, at the end of the day, we still very, 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 very early in the rumor mill of the off season, guys. We're going to hear a million names, and we're going to get attached to some. There's going to be some that we laugh at. There's going to be some that we just brush off. But nonetheless, again, it is only the 13th of February, guys. The team doesn't even get back out on the practice field until July. I'm sorry. So a lot could happen between now and then, guys. But whoever is under center will be my dude. Whoever it is, I don't care who it is. But I want the best. I want the best possible situation to give us the best chance to win.
Yeah, and like your Overcon will be doing a disservice to the organization if he didn't kick the tires on every quarterback that's potentially available. You have to. Yeah, you have to do what's best for the team, and they may like what they saw, like the way Fields carried himself in the practice through practices, liked the development that they saw that we didn't see the second half of the year because he wasn't out there at all. They may like that, but you still have to go out and kick the tires on everyone else. Hey, who's out there at the quarterback position? They're doing every other position as well, so you just got to see who's out there, and if you can make a trade or sign someone to make the team better, you go ahead and do it. Feelings be damned. It's a business. They have to do what's best for the team. And if that's, potentially swinging a trade for this guy, if that's what they want to do and they can make it work, you got to go ahead and do it. Is it something I would do? Probably not. But, they have to do what they think is right. And if they didn't like what they saw from Fields, during his time at practice didn't think he developed, then you go ahead and pull the trigger. But even if you did like what you saw, you still go out and see if you can make the team better. So it's just not something I would do, but I don't blame them for doing it. And it's fun debate. It's fun to talk about, to see what the team can and will look like in the future.
DL Dub said he was constantly he was in the red zone constantly early in the season. A lot of offensive mistakes and drops.
That's true.
Was this not the case in our first few games? I remember Justin Fields dropping quite a few quite a few snaps, if I'm remembering right. Mark Malone, me tired of Sphincter Canada type shit. DL Dub says Denver was a good team. Were they really? Especially
not at that time.
Especially that early on, they weren't. Atlanta, I don't think ever was really a good team. Come on, they brought it. Atlanta, in a bad division, they couldn't even win that division. So I don't know if I'm going to give that to them. Also, he was.
I thought Denver was going to be a terrible team last year. Like the way, when we played them, and they turned out to be one of the better teams in the league. So I don't think they were that hot early on.
I think we scored a touchdown and two field goals or something.
16-3, yeah.
Then let's see.
Because we did shoot ourselves in the foot that game. That was the game where Broderick Jones had 3 big holding calls that called back a touchdown, called back another big gain. So yeah, looking at the stat line, it wasn't impressive. You go and watch the film, we slaughtered that team. Denver wasn't looking that good then.
All right, let's get back on the messages. We act like guys can't get better. Fields had a different coordinator every year. You're telling me there's no way he could have gotten better from sitting? No, I'm not saying that at all. Nobody's saying that. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with Fields. And I'm not saying that I don't want him to be our starter. I like I said, if he does, and he is, I'm fine with that. I'll support him, and again, hope that he does what all you guys are saying. That's what I'm going to hope for. Jen says reports Pat Myers is staying. I have mixed emotions on that. DL Dub says I'm not mad at the Trev talk. He's good and still young. No, I feel you, DL Dub. And that's the thing about sports. Sometimes it seems like it gets a little bit more out of hand than it really does.
Personal than it is, yeah.
Right. Kenneth says we always take exactly what we see as gospel. When this year has proved that quarterbacks can't. No, you're right. Absolutely, Kenny. Absolutely, man. Please don't bring in Lloyd Christmas, Daniel Jones. I think we could all agree on that. Please. Please don't bring in Daniel Jones.
Yes. Yeah.
Roger, what's up, my man? Good afternoon to you, sir. He says one thing I'll say about Fields is he said he knows he needs to be better, and I think he will be.
Accountability. That's what I like about Fields. He's not afraid to critique his own game.
Mark Malone says, I see QBs grow almost every year. I can see. Absolutely. Again, I have nothing against Fields. I truly, honestly don't. I'm just trying to listen. I'm just trying to figure out ways to win games like everybody else is. And when I sit back and you look at things and you say to yourself, could this be the guy? Is this guy fit? Is this again, so many names are going to pop up, and there's going to be names that I like more than Fields. There's going to be names that I like less than Fields. And right now, Fields is the guy. So again, if he gets the nod, I'm behind him. No two ways about it. OT is a biz. OT, is that what that is? Also, I'm going to get to that here shortly. Over enthusiastic mod Caleb. I thought that was interesting as well. Vogelbach Mike is back with the Pirates. I'll get to that shortly. Mark Malone, Fields will be okay if he only has to throw the ball more than 20 times or so. And DL Dub was the center rookie, and he didn't have the problem in Chicago. I'm willing to listen. I'm willing to take everything that you're saying, DL Dub. And if he does come and become a successful quarterback and lead us to great places, I'm totally cool. I'm totally cool with that. Again, I'm probably going to say that I like Matthew Stafford better, and I would like to have him as my quarterback. And I'm probably going to say I like Trevor Lawrence, and I would like him as our quarterback. And then I'm going to say I don't like Kyler Murray more, and I would. So at the end of the day, again, guys, I hope you're right. If Justin Fields is that guy that gets this job, gets the nod this year, I hope you're right. I really do. Also, DL Dub says that was the rookie. Okay, Kenny, not really talking about you. It's mainly national media who just make their minds up about players.
Yep.
National media has no.
Oh.
They don't have a brain of their own, Kenny. They really don't. It's say what the most popular opinion is and run with it and try to get the ratings off of that. It's total BS. That's why I said yes. They don't pay attention to the media. They're garbage. Over enthusiastic Maud Caleb. Since 2022, Jaden Daniels has had 3 different offensive coordinators. What is this excuse about having different coordinators every year? That's an interesting point. Interesting. Also,
2 in college, 1 in the pros. Clever.
DL Dub in that center did that to Russell. No 2 ways about it. But again, if you see something more than 3 or 4 times in a short period of time, it tends to stick with you. So again, did he have problems with snaps in Chicago? I think that he did, if I'm remembering it right. But
his in Chicago were like the pocket collapsing, and when he would start to move around, like those strip sacks that like TJ Watt never good for it. It was stuff like that.
He puts the ball on the ground a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a problem, guys. Do you want to see your quarterback putting the ball on the ground a lot?
Because he has 20 career fumbles and Lawrence has 13 career fumbles. So yeah.
I know, all good. The banner's absolutely, my man, as always. Mark Malone says Russell Wilson didn't have any bad exchange with. No, he did. There's a couple. There was a couple.
He had at least 1 or 2. Yeah.
Dating way back, Mark, tell the truth. It happened to Russell Wilson. Which game was that? Okay, so we're gonna let them go at it, guys. Couple of things here. I do want to move along, Mike. Check this out. If you guys were interested in Tomlin's, here's some Tomlin numbers. I know again, this is kind of a debate right now. Mike Tomlin started his career, guys, 5-1 in the playoffs. 5-1. He's right now 8-11. So of all the players over all the years, of all the teams and all the GMs and all the coaches and all the coordinators, at the end of the day, a guy that started out 5-1 with Cowher's team. Some people are going to say it. In 2008, he won 3 of those games. In 10, he won 2. So in those 2 Super Bowl seasons, 5 of his 8 playoff wins, guys. He's been here almost 20 years, 8-11 in the playoffs. He started 5-1 in the playoffs. After those first 2 Super Bowls, he has gone 3-10. 3-10. I just wanted to throw that out there, guys. I don't know if anybody knows that, but Tomlin started his career in the playoffs with a 5-1 record. We are now sitting at an 8-11 record. Let me go on a couple of these messages, Mike, and then we're gonna have to jump forward. Okay, DL Dub and Mark Malone going at it. Yinzer Joe, I think Kupp and Godwin will be an equal option. Excuse me, instead of Deontay and draft. Yeah, you know what, guys? And any of those guys, I got to be honest with you. We went through all last season without having a number 2 receiver.
Yeah,
give me Kupp or give me Godwin or give me anybody. Come on.
Yeah, like if Kupp and Godwin could be healthy, I'd love to have either one of those 2 over Devontae Adams. I just because the way they approach the game, like those 2 guys, they're the antithesis of the diva wide receiver that you would see in a Devontae Adams and George Pickens. That's why. And even Deebo Samuel fits that mold too. So I like one of those 3 on the opposite side of George, outside of Devontae Adams, would be a much better situation too. And I think it would help keep George in line more.
Kenneth says, I think our line being healthy is an underrated. Oh, absolutely.
Oh, God, yeah.
An underrated aspect of our potential success. Sure, guys, if anybody doubts this at all, turn on the Super Bowl replay. They replay it all the time on NFL Network. Go over, watch how hard and well the offense and defensive line, as bad as Kansas City did get dominated, watch those watch the interior linemen on both of those teams for both of the sides of the ball. That's where we need to be line-wise. That's where we, if we want to be a team that makes a run in the playoffs, you have to get your interior lines playing well. This is certainly an aging defensive line and a non-experienced offensive line, kind of a recipe for disaster. So that has to even out at some point. Get a little bit younger on defense and get some more experience on this offensive line. But that goes so far. People don't even put that into consideration. A lot of time you're thinking skill players, receivers, quarterbacks, running backs. You forget about the line. You cannot forget about getting that line good, strong, healthy, and cohesive, because that, guys, one of the biggest parts of a football team. when it all comes down to it. The offensive line is it's huge.
And we have a pretty good starting building block on the O-line. Zach Frazier, according to PFF, he was the number 5 center in the NFL.
You know what? Getting thrown into the wolves right out of college, you know, that's a pretty good start.
Yeah.
Again, I don't care. I don't care. Listen, if it's Fatano, if it's Frazier, if it's Broderick Jones, you got to get it right. We got to get it right, guys.
Yeah.
If you want to do anything in this league, you got to have good interior line play, and certainly, and again, you got to say the injuries played a big role in that. But that's certainly an area that we have to improve.
I'm hoping too, like with Mason McCormick coming back, because I don't think we're going to bring back James Daniels. I think he's gone. And Siamala, this is probably like his worst year he's had in a long time. I'm hoping it's because, you know, he was dealing with 2 rookies right in the middle with him.
I'm sure.
And, you know, that interior improves. Fatano, I think, is going to be a huge improvement over Broderick Jones. And if Broderick Jones, your weak link on the line, you can be okay with that. There's ways.
As long as they don't put him at left tackle.
Don't put him at left tackle. Everyone wants him there because he's a natural left tackle, which, to quote, you know, Tunchilkin, the great Steeler offensive lineman, that just means what hand you put into the dirt first. That what you're comfortable with. That's all that.
More
means.
than that, but you know,
for the most part, it is that. But a natural left tackle, like we always say, that's a Tony Baselli. That's a.
I mean, that's your backside. You're protecting your quarterback's backside. That's the most.
That's not Broderick Jones.
That's why John Ogden got paid the money he did. That's why, you know, left tackles get paid big money. That is the big time position, especially on the line. Mike, let's do move forward. We are at about 50 minutes. I want to ask you this: the slot corner position. Between what you've seen last year, I thought Beanie Bishop overachieved, and I thought Cam Sutton certainly underachieved. I wanted more from Cam because I was a Cam Sutton fan. I didn't want to see him go to Detroit. I was happy to see him come back. Mike, is our slot corner position going to be okay this year? Because here's another thing, you know, with talk of Dante Jackson possibly going to the Giants, maybe somewhere else, who knows where. You know, this kind of puts us behind the 8 ball at the cornerback position. Let's just start at the slot corner. You know, are we okay at slot? And after that, what's going to be the options on the outside?
Yeah. It wouldn't surprise me if they run it back with Beanie Bishop. I don't want them to bring back Cam Sutton. You know, once.
Oh, what a letdown that was!
It was a huge.
I was so excited about him too.
Because when he left Pittsburgh, he was, you know, the guy that could play inside, outside, like one of the smartest guys on the team. Was a damn good corner. Then goes up to what the 1 year in Detroit, did not play well, had all the off-field issues, and he came back here. Okay, he's coming home. He's coming to a place he's familiar. It sounds like he got his head back on right after everything that happened, and he just couldn't play. You know, he looked lost and confused out there as well, and that was not the guy that was, you know, that we saw before he left to go get the money up in Detroit. So it's time to move on from him. And then outside corners, Dante Jackson, you know, he had a lot of picks for us, but
I would love to see him back, man.
But he was also getting burnt a lot too. And that was just.
Are we going to be able to improve on what he did? I mean, he got burnt some, but you know what? So did our whole secondary. We can't replace the whole thing for what it was worth. He did a lot of good. I would not mind having him back. You know, a lot of people are going to say, well, you know, we got burnt. We let up a lot of points in the playoffs. Well, you know, at this point in the game, who are you going to get that could come in and is better? I mean, the guy he was productive all year. He got mad picks. He did a lot in the secondary. I mean, are we going to actually be able to get somebody that's better to come in and fill his spot? Or, you know, that's a question too, Mike. I mean, you want to improve, and just by getting rid of the guy that's there doesn't automatically mean that we're going to improve.
Yeah, there's some guys out there in free agency that I can see them taking a look at, but like off the top of my head, I without digging into like their stats, you know, like, did they play more man? Did they play more zone? Like, there's a couple guys out there. Travarius Ward from San Francisco, DJ Reed from New York. Those names I've heard as possible replacements for Dante if he goes, but yeah, I got to dig more into it. But those are like the two that I've just online that I've seen mentioned. If Dante goes, we'll look at those guys.
Yeah, and Kenny's mentioned it on the board too. He says Dante did have those back issues. I did forget about that as well. Let me knock through a couple of these. Mike, it says McCormick got some games under. Yeah, no, I feel good with the experience McCormick got. It was unfortunate. You'd like to see these guys get a little bit of time to understudy, but getting thrown into the wolves sometime could be very, very productive. Kenny says, okay, well, how do you feel about these free agent QBs? Carson Wentz, Jameis Winston, Mariota, Zach Wilson. I feel the same about all of them. I got to be honest with you. These guys are a group of guys that I feel the absolute same about every single one of them. I'm not. They're all career backups. Those guys that you all mentioned are all career backups in the NFL. Mark Malone said Fields will be this year's Sutton. He comes back and sucks to the tranny. He also says, dude, my back, maybe. So he did have the issues with his back. I was forgetting about that.
Back. Yeah.
And one other thing here, guys. Duck, do you remember, I think, was it Christmas or Thanksgiving when they had those halftime shows on the games, and the one was the Real Hot Country chick, and everyone was like, oh,
yeah.
Okay, well, remember we discovered it was Duck Hodges. He was dating her. Name is Lainey Wilson. Yeah. Apparently, they got engaged. Duck Hodges and Lainey Wilson got engaged, Mike. So I know a lot of people liked her, and I guess a few people in Pittsburgh still remember Duck. But Duck Hodges, the former Pittsburgh Steelers quarterback, engaged to Lainey Wilson.
My man has turned 3 games played in the NFL to an all-time run.
Yeah, talking about.
I'm going to find somehow dupe this attractive, talented woman to like me, and then just ride her coattails.
Hey, it's not like
it's not bad work if you get it.
Like a good blueprint for me.
I know. I see. I've tried it. It didn't work for me.
Let me ask this, guys on the board, gals on the board, everybody. Do you like or you dislike the rumor mill? I personally like this time of year. Again, you get connected with a lot of big names. Most of the times, it doesn't formulate anything. But on the board, just give me your opinion. Do you guys like? Do you guys like the rumor mill? Do you like the different ideas, even though we know they're not going to happen? Do you like hearing them? Let us know what you think on the board. All right, Derpy. Derpy says he has to bounce. All right, Derpy, have a good day, my friend. Hope you're feeling better. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
Better be here, Derpy.
The Duck is a legend because of that alone. Yeah, you're right. Duck was shooting heavy loads that night. All right, all the Duck Hodges jokes are coming through. Let me jump over to let's do this real quick, guys. The Pittsburgh Penguins. Team Canada, of course, led by Pittsburgh Penguins captain Sidney Crosby. They beat Sweden in the first game of the 4-team tournament. They win 4-3 in overtime. Crosby gets 3 assists in this game. Team Canada off to a good start, Mike. 4-3. They beat Sweden.
Dude, Sidney Crosby, you put other good players around him, you can see he's still playing at a high level. A lot of the talk online was after the game was like, he's like 38 years old or something. He's surrounded by all these younger guys that, people are like, oh, these are the new wave of stars. And he was still the best player out there against, playing on a team with Connor McDavid and Nathan McKinnon, the two that, have supposedly replaced him as the best player. And he's outperforming both of them. It's just unbelievable.
It's still early though, Mike. It's still early.
It's still early.
Let's see how this thing plays out. Pittsburgh Pirates, Mike, pitchers and catchers. They are in Bradenton for the spring training, Mike. It has started. The guys are down there getting ready. The Pittsburgh Pirates will be, before you know it, it'll be opening day. As I mentioned earlier, they're bringing back Daniel Vogelbach, of course, the big heavyset guy. Everybody remembers him. He went to the Mets about 3 years ago. It was Vogelbach. Then it was Carlos Santana. Then it was Rowdy Tellez. Now it's Spencer Horwitz. So 4 first basemen to go. Every year it's a different guy. He is coming back as a hitting assistant, Mike. Daniel Vogelbach will be back in the Pirates dugout as a hitting assistant this time because Spencer Horwitz, our new first baseman, is out 6 to 8 weeks with a wrist injury. If that's not one of the more Pirate things you've heard either.
Right.
So
when I first saw that reported, I'm like, please don't let this be true. And then it was true. So and then I saw a spoof tweet after that. It was like Pirates are bringing back Gregory Polanco as the base running coach.
Are you serious?
No, that was the joke. Yeah, just because of how bad at base running he was.
Yeah. So that's that. The Buccos back in spring training this week. The boys of summer should be back at it. A couple weeks, few weeks, Mike, and then it'll be the season will be here. And then finally, the preseason for the Pittsburgh Riverhounds continues on as the Hounds, they beat Indy 2-1. They have another preseason game coming up against the Columbus Crew Saturday, this weekend, 3:30. Mm-hmm. Check out the Pittsburgh Riverhounds back in action. Kenny says, one Steeler question. We struggle with the run defense, especially late in the season. The 2 seasons we have but dressed Fahok. Okay, you telling me he couldn't help at all? Okay, I see where you're at. I just think that the defensive line, that's another area that we have to focus on. If we're going to focus on anything in defense, it better be that defensive line because, for one, Cam is aging, of course. He had a good season last year, don't get me wrong. The middle is just non-existent. I mean, come on. We're expecting Keanu Benton to do great things in the middle. That's just not happening. And then also Ogunjobi. Is he playing? Is he playing to where you want him to play? I don't think so, guys. I think that defensive line has to improve, obviously, with a few other positions on defense. But I think you have to focus on defensive line, and I think a lot of people are saying that as well heading into the draft. Yeah. Anyway,
it's not a sexy position to draft, but we saw it in the Super Bowl how important.
Mike, if you could get the freak, that Jalen Carter is, or what's the guy for Kansas City? I can't right off the top of my
head. Chris
Jones. If you could get that freak, grab him. I mean, and I even said that when Carter was, during the Jalen Carter, I said, you know what? He's so much of a freak. You might just have to almost grab him.
Yeah.
So we'll see moving forward. Defensive line, offense of skilled positions. We got some work to do, guys. We only line up two defensive tackles 70+% of the time. Kenny says Kenneth Grant from Michigan is my crush right now.
Ooh, yep. I don't think he's going to be there when we draft, but if he is,
Walter Nolan. Mike, why don't you go and tell everybody about the website?
Oh, the website that it's going to be fixed here soon after I get off here and start raising hell with our provider. But yes, the2dumyinzers.com. Check it out, everyone. We got the blog over there. It will be coming back next week. It's going to be a mock draft. So that's going to be the first blog up, the2dumyinzers.com. We got, the links there. We got the merch store there, all at the2dumyinzers.com.
Go check it out, everybody. As Mike said, he does have to go in and repair a few things. I noticed we were down yesterday, but he's going to work on that as soon as the show's over. Go check out www.the2dumyinzers.com. That's www.the2dumyinzers.com. Going back to Roger on one of his messages, we're talking about, do you like the rumor mill? He says, I hate it. It's a lot of clickbait. I hate clickbait. No two ways about that. Corey, what's up, brother? He says, I'm late for the party, but where did the Lawrence rumors come from? And I have a bad feeling we won't sign Fields, or we already would have. That's an interesting take.
Yeah, there's a reporter. He was, I forget what he covers, but he was on one of the local radio shows this morning, and he tweeted out right before he was on, or he was on there, that he has it from an inside source inside Jacksonville that the Steelers reached out about Trevor Lawrence's availability.
And as it was stated earlier in the show as well, they have a lot of problems. They don't have a GM. They got people are getting fired left and right.
Right.
So who knows?
They missed out on the coach they really wanted because the GM that was still there didn't want that coach. Then they had to fire the GM to get a backup coach. So it's a complete mess down there.
Good. There's a lot of information, though, guys. A lot of good opinions, especially by the board. Corey, if you do go back and listen to the show today, I think there was a lot of good opinions, one way or the other, whether it be about Fields, whether it be about Trevor Lawrence, a lot of stuff. So do go check out if you do get a chance later on today. Guys, let's jump into the trivia question of the day. Mike, this is my last one. I swear to you, no more after this. This is my last one. Since the halftime show, the Super Bowl was a hot topic. The Kendrick Lamar Super Bowl, some people loved it, some people hated it, some people didn't know what to make of it. But, Mike, this is our last Super Bowl halftime trivia question for the year. We won't do this again until next Super Bowl. But nonetheless, guys, today's trivia question is a Super Bowl halftime question. Mike, put on your thinking caps. Everybody on the board, everybody at home. Here's the trivia question of the day. Mike, can you name more than one halftime performers for the Steelers' 3 Super Bowls this century? They played in 3 Super Bowls, which means there was 3 halftimes. Can you name more than one of the performers of the Steelers halftime shows at the Super Bowl? Take a minute to think about it, guys. We're live 5 days a week right here, Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on YouTube. All right, question of the day. Who were the halftime performers for the 3 Steelers Super Bowls this century, guys? I just need more than one. If you give me one, that's incorrect. But if you give me more than one, that will be correct. Mike, give me your thought process.
I have no idea whatsoever. I can't name a single one. I was the first Super Bowl that I was able to see against Dallas. I was too invested in the game that was going on and, freaking out.
Well, considering that isn't this century, it's from the 3 Super Bowls.
My bad.
This century.
So the 3. No, I was too busy either being drunk, or being drunk.
Okay, so you don't know.
I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Over enthusiastic Maud Caleb says, got to be Peter Frampton, Hank Williams Sr., and Jesus. Mark Malone says, I can't think of one. All right, guys. So Super Bowl 40, I think this might ring a bell for you guys. Who did Coach Cowher just love performed at the halftime show at Super Bowl 40? Matter of fact, he went back out in the hallway and watched the performance for a bit during halftime. And does anybody remember that?
No.
Kenneth says, I know it was an older group. That's correct. It was an older group. Guys, Super Bowl 40 was Rolling Stones.
Oh.
The Rolling Stones. Remember, Cowher was big on that. He couldn't wait for the Stones. He says, wasn't the Who one of them that was entered Maud Caleb? They were, but not one of the Steelers. The Who was certainly in the Super Bowl halftime shows along the way. Mark Malone, 05 was the Rolling Stones. Yinzer Joe Canary, you like the Williams or Dion Walker? I think Walker's okay. Guys, Super Bowl 43, the Steelers versus the Arizona Cardinals in Tampa Bay, Florida. The Super Bowl halftime show for that one was Bruce Springsteen and the E Street Band. Bruce Springsteen and the E Street Band. Super Bowl 43.
Bruce Springsteen thought all those people were there to watch him, and he wanted to keep the halftime show going. I remember that one
now. And finally, guys, number 45, Super Bowl 45 in Dallas against Green Bay 15 years ago. The halftime show was a mix and match, Mike. The Black Eyed Peas.
Yep, now I remember.
Yep. Usher and who?
God, we just talked about this yesterday, didn't we? I have no. Yeah, they weren't on the list. That's right. No, Slash. Yep.
Slash. Black Eyed Peas, Usher, and Slash was the so the 3 halftime shows, guys, for the Steelers Super Bowls: Rolling Stone Super Bowl 40, Bruce Springsteen and the E Street Band Super Bowl 43, and Super Bowl 45. Again, Black Eyed Peas, Usher, and Slash was the correct answer. That was a tough one. That was really a tough one. We got some weak ass halftime show. I know they need to really put some smart people in a room and make them come out with a solution for something. Here's the thing: you want everybody to be happy, but sometimes you put together a show like Bruce Springsteen and the E Street Band, and nobody's happy.
I hate Bruce Springsteen. Hate him.
They just need to put a bunch of smart people together and come up with some ideas. Like, come on, well, I said,
like
smart
I said,
people.
Put me in charge.
I want to see more. I want to see more wardrobe malfunctions. Is what I like to see. But if you're talking about performances alone, come on, guys. And like I said, I think you have to go more mainstream because it's such a diverse audience. Football. Everybody loves football. It isn't like hockey where most people are Canadian. You know what I mean? It's so diverse. Everybody loves the NFL. Maybe shoot for something a little bit more mainstream. That's just my opinion, guys. Mike, anything before we do start getting ready to wrap up for the day?
I got nothing. I've been trolling the internet to find any more scoops about this Jacksonville stuff. Nothing's coming up, but God, I love this time of the year.
Yeah, I do too. A lot going on. People think there's not a lot going on, but there's a lot going on with the Steelers, especially. It's going to be a lot of stuff coming every day. We're going to, I went to bed last night, Mike, thinking, what's going to be the topic of the show tomorrow? You wake up today with all this scoop with Trevor Lawrence. Bam, you have an hour worth of talk.
Well, speaking of the devil right now, Mark Caboli just reports that the Steelers in no way imaginable inquired about trading for Trevor Lawrence and have no interest in even reaching out to the Jags about acquiring Lawrence, according to a source.
And you know what? Again, you got to watch Pittsburgh media, guys. One way or the other. Do what you want with that. Let me catch a couple more of these, Mike. Over enthusiastic, anyway, not a big fan, but over enthusiastic. Mod Caleb says, imagine a Post Malone Beyonce Meatloaf halftime show. DL Dub says, can't win with constant gap pressure. Ask Tom Brady. And then also Corey Beaver says, apparently the artist has to pay for the halftime shows and they gain popularity from it, which leads to more record sales. So it makes sense.
I read on this one, like last year, like Rihanna didn't get much, Kendrick didn't get much because they were counting on like you said, the boost of the halftime show.
Listen, Shakira has my vote every year. I will watch her hips not lie for every halftime for the rest of my life. That's fine with me, but who knows? Mike, anything else?
No, that's all I got. It's off-season time, baby. I'm loving this time of the year.
Love it. I love it as well. But we're gonna, Mike. I think we're gonna hear more. You're gonna hear more rumors, one way or the other. And again, they're all coming from pretty, as far as Pittsburgh sports media, some pretty. You recognize these names, like you said, Mark Caboli. I've seen a couple other names earlier this morning. So
I'm hit or miss with Caboli. Sometimes like he's dialed right in, and other times you're like, he's not.
So we're going to keep up on all this stuff. We're going to get as much Steelers scoop constantly moving forward as we can possibly get, all the way up till the opening kickoff. No two ways about that, guys. We are going to be working hard at that. As the over-enthusiastic Mod Caleb did throw up the website on the screen. Mike does have to get in and fix something. I don't know what the deal is, but he seems to know what's going on. He will do that immediately after the show's over today, so do go check that out. Thank you, Mod Caleb. Really appreciated, guys. My thing is this: I was going to award Derpy his championship. Mike, he won the picks, but for whatever reason, he did have to bounce early. I didn't get to award him his winnings yet, so maybe he'll be in tomorrow. Finch will be by tomorrow. A lot of stuff to go over and talk about. And again, who knows? There might be a whole different quarterback that's coming to Pittsburgh tomorrow. Who knows what's going to go on, guys? Again, it's only February 13th. Again, tomorrow is also Valentine's Day. Maybe we'll try to do something special for Derpy. Who knows? Who knows what tomorrow brings, guys? Let the Rudolph rumors fly, Mark Malone says. Guys, I love it. I love it. Here we are. We'll see. Again, today, the news scoop is Trevor Lawrence. We reached out to the Jacksonville Jaguars to see if there's any chances of the Trevor Lawrence moving him out of Jacksonville. Mike came through with some late information, says it said no, it didn't happen. This did happen. We don't know what happened, guys. All we do know is that Derpy did not get any batteries in his smoke detector, as over-enthusiastic Mod Caleb is saying on the board.
Very, very true.
Mike, I do want to say thank you to everybody for coming and hanging out and checking us out today. We certainly appreciate each and every one of you. We truly, honestly do. We wouldn't do this without you. Thank you. Thank you so much. I want to thank everybody on the board. You guys always keep things interesting on the board. You always do. Thank you. And everybody at home, thank you as well. You guys are amazing. We thank every single one of you. Mike, speak now or forever hold your peace, brother. Anything else before we go?
I got nothing. Thank you all for joining. Can't wait to talk again tomorrow.
I was thinking tomorrow we ought to tell Derpy that me, you, and some of the guys on the board, we all went and spent his winnings, his Permane brother gift certificates. Some of the guys that are local, we've got together.
Yeah, I'm down.
Since he was sick all week, we didn't get the chance to award him.
I'm down for that.
Yeah, maybe for Valentine's. I don't know. We'll see. We'll figure it out tomorrow. But yes, thank you, Kenny. Really appreciate it, my friend. And you guys all have a great Thursday. Stay warm, stay safe, and we'll be back first thing tomorrow to knock out the Friday installment of the show. We hope to see everybody there. For Mike from the Steelers Central Mobile Studio, for myself, the two Dum Yinzers, everybody have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.